and this is a BMW 750 2007. I'm making this video after a couple years from the part 1, and then the people they always call me, they have so many questions, and so in this video I'm going to answer most of the questions that the customers they ask me over the phone for troubleshooting the BMW 745 or 750. Every car comes with a different options, so they have a different number of the components in the trunk. 750 2006 and up, most of them they are equipped with the satellite tuner module, which we did not show it in the other video because the 745 most of them they didn't have one, but on the 750 2006 and up, most of them they do have satellite tuner module, and it's located right up here. As you can see, this is a satellite tuner module, Bluetooth module, voice module, DVD changer, which most of the BMWs they do not have this one, and then the navigation DVD player, and this is also for the DVD player. And this car does not have the HD tuner, otherwise we would have 8 components. So some cars they come with only 4 components, some come with 5 components. It all depends on the options of the car. You have to have at least one connector with the blinking fiber optic red light. As you can see, I removed 3 connectors here, and then one of them is blinking. Not all of them are blinking at the same time, because there is only one fiber optic from the front of the car that comes to the trunk. So what you do, you remove all of the connectors from all of the components, and then you hold them in your hand. In here, I just removed 3 of them for the demonstration, and you can see one is blinking. And if there is once you remove all these connectors, and if none of them are blinking, there is no need to bypass the plugs, because you don't have any fiber optic coming into the trunk. You only bypass when there is a blinking light. Otherwise, there is no need to bypass the components. I'm going to bypass one connector here, and as you can see, as soon as I put my jumper in there, another connector starts blinking. If I remove my jumper, see, it goes back to the first one. That's how you can check to see if you have all the connectors. First of all, if you remove all the connectors or not. Because if I wouldn't have removed this connector and it was hidden in the back somewhere hooked up to a module, then I wouldn't be eliminating this connector or this module. So I bypass the connector, and you can see this one is blinking, and then as you can see, another one starts blinking. There is a third one here too. I'll show you in a minute. See, when I bypass this one, and then the third connector is blinking. So if you have 7 connectors, all of them they are peer-to-peer. From A goes to B, from B goes to C, from C goes to D. It depends on how many modules you have in the trunk. So the way you start troubleshooting, you remove all of these connectors and you hold them in your hand. In this case, just for example, we just have these 3. So one is blinking, and then you come and you bypass it, and then once the other one is blinking, and then you know the continuity is good, so you remove your jumper, and this plug, it belongs to, for example, in this car, it belongs to this interface module. Then you plug it back into the interface module, and then here you go, and it's blinking red. What it means the module is working properly, because the fiber optic goes inside the module, it comes out and it goes to this plug. And this one, it belongs to a voice module up here. And if the voice module is good, the next plug is going to blinks. And here if I bypass it now, and then as you can see this was, so the continuity is good, and this is my second plug. So what I'll do, I remove my jumper and I put it back into where it belongs to. And now here you go, my third plug is blinking. So if the voice module was faulty, I wouldn't have this connector blinks right now in my hand. You need to have this the bypass loop, so you can do all this test. And this last plug is belongs to the Bluetooth module. Yeah. And if the Bluetooth module is working fine, then the next plug or the next module starts working. And if the Bluetooth module is faulty, we are not going to have a sound in the car. So what we do, we just remove the fiber optic connector and then we just bypass it. So the conclusion is, if there is no light coming into the trunk, there is no need to bypass. And the second, if the fiber optic line goes to the component, it has to come out. If it doesn't come out, the unit is faulty. After you find out that your component, for example, the navigation drive is faulty, and I get so many phone calls, people, they replace the navigation drive and it's still not working. Before you replace the navigation drive, you have to make sure the navigation drive, it has a 12-volt power in the back, in the plug. So you can check it with your test light or the voltmeter, make sure the drive, it has the power, because if it does not have any power, once you bypass it, everything would work. But if you replace the component and it still doesn't work, for sure the power is missing for the drive, or the part that you bought is defective. You can bypass all of these components in the trunk, which we have 7 modules, but we do not need any of them to get our sound system to be working inside the vehicle. Basically, you can even bypass your amplifier, Bluetooth module. You can remove all of these components, and then you still should have sound in the front, because the single CD player in the front, which is called ASK unit, it has an internal amplifier and it powers up 4 speakers inside the vehicle. So even if you bypass your Logic 7 amp, you should still have 4 speakers working in the car. But of course you cannot crank it up too high, because the Logic 7 amp, it supplies the power to the subwoofers and the 2 rear doors. So if you bypass your Logic 7 amplifier, make sure you do not crank up the sound, because it might damage your the amplifier inside the single CD player, or so-called ASK unit. Do not remove this fiber optic jumper located in the glove box. This jumper is not a spare parts that you can check your sound system. The purposely they put it over here to close the fiber optic network. So if you remove this one and then use it to bypass your component in the trunk, you are defeating the purpose, because you are already opening your fiber optic loop. So do not remove this jumper to test your system. If you turn on the ignition and you turn on the radio, and the BMW logo does not show on the screen, there is no need to bypass the components in the trunk, because regardless of any fiber optic issue or the bad components, you should have the BMW logo coming on the screen. You have to check the power for the monitor, and if the power is there, and in this case the monitor is faulty, it needs to be replaced or repaired. The fiber optic connector in the glove box, it should be always blinking red. If it's not blinking red, there is a possibility that your ASC unit is not functioning properly. So that's one of the tests to check the ASC unit. But then sometimes this one still blinks, but the ASC unit is still is faulty. So, but this is another test that you can see if your ASC unit is sending the signal out or not. And the CD changer or the single CD player, it could be physically broken. That means you cannot insert the magazine, or it makes noise, or it won't play, or the single CD, it won't take the CD in, or if it takes the CD in, it won't play. If they are physically broken, it's okay, it won't affect your fiber optic line. As long as the CD changer is alive and it's power up and the fiber optic line goes inside and it comes out, it's fine. It does not have to be functional. And the same thing for the ASC unit. If the CD section does not work, it's okay, because as long as it generates the fiber optic output, that's good for us, so we can utilize it, and then the system should work. So if your single CD is not working properly, just the mechanism, and the mechanism for the door or the CD changer is not working properly, it's okay. It won't affect our fiber optic loops. If you replace your ASC unit or your monitor, you might have to get it coded with the vehicle, because some of the functions might not be available after you replace it. But sometimes you might get lucky, and then the used part that you got, or it might work with your vehicle and has all the options that your car has, and then it would work fine. But if you buy a brand new one, for sure you have to get it coded with the vehicle, either the ASC unit or the monitor. If your front door speakers, one of them is not working, or it has distortion, the problem, it could be due to a bad ASC unit, the single CD player in the dash, which is called ASC unit, or it could have been caused by the Logic 7 amplifier in the trunk. To rectify the issue, you need to bypass the Logic 7 amplifier in the trunk. Once you bypass that one, the ASC unit will supply the audio to the two front door speakers and the two speakers behind the passenger's seat next to the glass. So the ASC unit powers up two front door speakers and then two rear speakers right on the deck behind the glass. And the Logic 7 amplifier powers up the single center speaker on the dashboard, plus the two rear door speakers, plus the subwoofers. But since the Logic 7 amp has a surround sound system in it, it could affect the front door speakers too. So once you bypass the Logic 7 amplifier, you can see if the two front door speakers, they have a good solid sound, plus the two rear speakers on the deck behind the passenger seat. If they have a good sound, that means your ASC unit is good. But if with the Logic 7 amplifier bypass, then one of the speaker in the front or behind the passenger seat is a staticky or has no sound, then the problem is the ASC unit and not the Logic 7 amplifier. If the rear door speakers are not working, or has distortion, or the subwoofer underneath the driver's seat or the passenger seat not working, or they have distortion, 90% 8% at the time the problem is the Logic 7 amplifier in the trunk, and it's not the rear door speaker or the subwoofer. There is a very slight chance the speakers could be bad. The easiest way to figure it out, just unplug the amplifier, send it in to get bench tested, or just replace it with another Logic 7 amplifier. So if your sounds are good, then you know all of your speakers are good, and your amplifier is faulty, that's most the case. The amplifier is causing the issue, not the speakers. If you remove all of the fiber optic connectors from all of the components and none of them are blinking red, first you have to make sure that the ignition is on and the radio is on, because sometimes they time out, so the units, they go to sleeping mode. So every time you want to test the units, you have to go back in the car, turn on the ignition, turn on the radio, and then you can come in the trunk and then to check your connectors to see if you have any red lights blinking. If none of the red lights are blinking in the trunk, then the problem is inside the vehicle. For the 2002 until 2005, there is a tuner module inside the cabin, which the fiber optic from the front of the car, it goes to the tuner module, which is located in the quarter panel behind the passenger and the driver side, and then it comes to the trunk. So if there is no light in the trunk and the ignition is on, radio is on, and you have no light coming into the trunk through any of the connectors, you need to go back inside the cabin, which I'll show you in a minute, and then check the fiber optic going to the tuner. This is behind the back seat on the driver's side, right next to the glass, right on the quarter panel. And this is a tuner, AM/FM tuner. The fiber optic from the front of the car, it comes right here to this tuner, and then it will go to the trunk. So if you have no light in the trunk, this could be causing the issue. What you need to do, you need to remove this and then bypass this connector. Once you bypass it, and then you should have lights in the trunk. So then you know that the AM/FM tuner is faulty, and then you need to replace this one. 2002 to 2005, they all have this AM/FM tuner in this location. At the 2006 to 2009, it might have this tuner in this location, or it might have a HD tuner in the trunk. So if your car is between 06 to 09, you have to check in the trunk to see if you have a IBOC tuner. If you have an IBOC tuner, you do not have this tuner module here. But if you do not have IBOC tuner in your trunk, then you are going to have a AM/FM tuner right in this section, which you need to check it out. This is the HD tuner module for the 2006 to 2009 750. It says on it IBOC tuner. It doesn't say HD tuner, but this is a high definition tuner basically for the AM and FM. Almost all of the 745 and 750, they have this option of the Logic 7 amplifier, but I would say like about maybe 2 or 3% of them, they do not have the Logic 7 amplifier in the trunk. In this case, what they have this small amplifier just for the subwoofer only. And so as you can see, this one does not have any fiber optic input. It's only analog, which is very simple, and they hardly go bad. And then in cases like this that you do not have the Logic 7 amp, the ASC unit in the front, it powers up all of the speakers in the car. the 2 front door, 2 rear door, and then 2 behind the passenger on the deck. And this one, it powers up the subwoofer on the floor under the driver and the passenger seat. I get so many phone calls to say, where do I buy these fiber optic jumpers? If you want, you can go to our website. You can purchase it in our website. We have them for sale. And if you have any other questions that I did not answer in this video, you can always send us an email or call us at 818-785-8085. And then we can help you to figure out the problem on your vehicle. And if you need any repair with the components, you are welcome to send it in for repair to us. We are located in Van Nuys, California. Thank you.